Hi everyone, Irene here, Divine Psychic and Spiritual Advisor. I have Alexis here with me. We're going to do her reading. So let's get started. What I'm going to do first, I connected with my guides before, actually all day, the whole day today, and even leading up to the reading, I always connect with them. And you were so kind to provide your questions for me. Typically, I'll do 5 questions if a person has a question about past lives or current lives, and also do some life coaching. And if you have any challenges you're going through right now, or anything you want to accomplish, or anything you want to know, if you want to know something about that's going on in your life right now. So let's get into your questions. Let me get into, I just had them pulled up, but just give me a minute here. So your first one was, who was I in my past life? So as I explained to when someone has a reading, we've led many past lives. We also exist, a portion of our soul exists on other planets as well. And we have a planet of origin, which is known as a star seed. We're star seeds from other planets that incarnate on this planet. And the interesting thing is about what I got from your star of origination. You're from Sirius. S, like Sirius Radio. That's how it's spelled. Yeah. And now you'll love this because the star seeds are, if you're from Sirius, it's a very loving, compassionate being. They're known for being very highly evolved, like one of the most highly evolved star seeds. It's said that Jesus was from the Sirius star. It's now Sirius, you can see it. It's the brightest star in the sky.
Right.
You can see it at night. So the first lifetime I got for you was, you were a schoolgirl in Japan. This was fairly, I would say it's like the very early 1900s. You lived in Japan. You were a schoolgirl. You loved school, and it was a very it was a life filled with tradition and discipline, and you really like that. So and I know one of your questions was, why are you? One of your questions is, why were you drawn to Asian cultures? What you like, what sticks with you from this lifetime is you like tradition and discipline. You like the tradition of family. And from what I understand, the Asian culture is very regimented and very steeped in tradition. And a lot of cultures are, but in particular, that's what you really enjoyed about this life. And that's what speaks to you. And you kind of carry that over into this life, that really appeals to you. Um, and
Yeah,
then,
I want to just, sorry to interrupt you. But when you said that in the 1900s, I was a schoolgirl in Japan, since I was in the 3rd grade, we had to do our flags, and I picked Japan out of the blue.
no. Again, confirmation.
I said, 2 of my places that I would like to go in my life be California or Japan. I've been to California 3 times already in the past.
Wow.
Japan. I want to learn the language. I only know 4 words in Korean and 2 words in Chinese.
And they're pretty challenging languages to learn. I mean, many people say that the English language is the most challenging to learn, but of course, if you're trying to learn something like, Korean or Japanese or Mandarin, to me, I mean, as an English speaking person, it's a pretty daunting task. But now, see, this is what happened with T's reading last night. The first thing, and it automatically clicked with her, she remembered something that connected her to that country. So it's just
wow.
it's really awesome. So that makes perfect sense, and why that you're also drawn to the Asian and Korean ways and people. The next lifetime is you were a nun. You were a nun, and you had, there was a I guess they call it a cloister, or your the church was near the ocean. This was a beautiful location. This was a very quiet life, and interestingly enough, one of the sisters then was your mom is your mom in this life, or I know your mom's passed over, but she existed with you as a nun, and you were sisters, obviously, together. And that was a very quiet, reflective, retrospective, introspective life for you both. And you really, the thing that you liked also was being by the water, because this location was pretty beautiful. It did.
That's so true.
What's
That
that?
is true about the water. Yeah, I like to be by the water.
Oh, my guides were loud and clear.
I like to be in it. Huh? Oh no, go ahead. I don't like to be. I don't mean necessary to be in it, but I like to sit by it quietly, reading a book, and just enjoy the sightseeing.
And that speaks perfectly to this life, because that's exactly what really spoke to you and what you enjoyed in this lifetime. And in this particular one, they just didn't give me a time frame on this one. Obviously, it wasn't in the 20th century, but they just didn't give us. A lot of times they will give me a time period, but for this one, they did not. But in this lifetime, you did exist with your mom.
No.
And this was very, like I said, a very introspective, very regimented, like religious, but it was a very good life for you. And then the next lifetime, the theme in your life, which I noticed, is one of compassion, love, nurturing, and also teaching. And I'll get to that a little bit when we get further ahead. The next incarnation, you were a nurse.
Oh my God, you was a nurse already here. Go ahead.
You were a nurse in Germany. Now, this was in the early, like 1930. I'm sorry, not 1930. I'm getting confused. You were a nurse way back, right before the 1900s. Yeah, right before the 1900s began. And this was before, like, a nurse in Germany back then, it's not like this was a profession. This was more of a calling. My guides told me that you mixed home remedies, and you also dressed wounds if there was any injuries, and you were a caretaker. Because back then, like I said, nurses, they really weren't paid. That was more like a calling or something you did for your country. It's not, you didn't even do it full. It's not like you did it like as a job, but you were known as a nurse in that lifetime. The lifetime I probably should have, the earliest lifetime that I have is, it's actually the dawn of civilization, the dawn of man, when we were first becoming human beings. You were a cave family in South America, and you lived in the jungle, kind of close to like the Costa Rica area. Your husband in this life was your husband, or they didn't have wives and husbands, but he was your partner, or the way it was back then, my guys are telling me, is the family wasn't established as we know it. Everyone lived in more like a commune style, where you would have a partner, or you would procreate with your partner and children, but everyone would live together. So the partner that you had children with was your husband in this life. And Lori, you were the firstborn son and you had 4 children in that lifetime.
Was the firstborn son.
You were the firstborn son in that, and Lori was such a great help to you. She was really like the shining star of the tribe too.
See, like she is now. Yeah, she is now.
My guides kept telling me what a help. Like, she was like, if something needed to be done, she was the first one to volunteer for the hard work and the hard labor. because she was very strong. And everyone in that tribe, and my guides told me, Alexis, that you were very tan. You had long brown hair, and everyone was really robust and sturdy, a little bit more primal than humans look today. But your relationship with the land, obviously, you're much closer to nature and living off the land. And you really also had to stick together for protection, because you had to worry about getting food, keeping away, not being attacked by wild animals. So that was everyone's full-time job, was looking out for one another. That's why they stayed in that tribe, the formation of the tribe, when, like I said, this was early, the dawn of civilization, the first humans.
Wow.
And then your mom, they gave me even new information about your mom today.
Aww.
Yeah, this is which I loved. So now your mom, one of your questions was your mom reborn? Did she reincarnate? Is she on the earth today? And she is. She is a 6-year-old boy in India. And
another place I like to be.
In India, and what they told me is she has a dog as a little boy that she really loves, like her, and she's really attached to her pet dog. She loves this dog. And also, what they told me about your mom, my guides told me today that your mom is a soul that when others, she is a guide to other souls. When other souls cross over and they're confused and they don't know what's going on, she helps them to the other side, to cross over into the light.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, one question, tell you.
Sure.
When my mom passed away in 1996, and she didn't have no ailment. She was just shutting down because she was getting older. So we went to the hospital, right? And she was very funny. So when we got there, she told the nurse, put me on DNR. So the nurse says, do you hear what she's saying? And my mother said, no, do you hear what I'm saying? She was tough, but she was good. She was disciplined, but she was fair. But she knew what she wanted. And so that night, no, 2 nights ago, she had told me, because she used to see things. I have relatives that see things.
Oh, wow.
And she used to say, your grandmother's there and your nephew is over there. I said, Mommy, if they're here to take you, you go. Do not stay here earthbound. So then she took my hand. She said, what's going to happen to you? I said, but Mommy, you told me so much along the way. I'm going to be just fine. And then that night I went home and I prayed to God. I said, you're going to take my mother, take her to her sleep. And that's just the way she went.
Really?
But she was very helpful to people that didn't have enough. She didn't have enough, but what she always reminded me, I used to tell you, just like Jesus with the fish and the bread.
Well, they're from the same place.
Right.
Well, you're from the same place, but a lot of times what happens is with the people that we incarnate with, they're also from the same star family as well. Yeah.
Cyrus, you say Cyrus?
Yeah, Cyrus. It's a star family.
Sirius, it's Sirius.
Okay. Very good. I could tell you some stories or make your hair stand up, but that'll be another.
I'm sure that you could. I'm sure that you could. My guides also shared with me that throughout your lifetimes, your soul loves to, you are really focused on children. You really like to help things grow, meaning you help children grow. You are a nurturer. You are a compassionate, nurturing, protective soul in a life. That's how you incarnate in many of your lifetimes. You love to share information, especially you're very focused on children.
That's true.
Yeah, very focused on children. You like to watch them. You like to nurture them and nurture things to grow. Yeah, and even like professions like nursing and a nun, what that's kind of doing is that's really in full service of your fellow man, and
I used to be a nurse's aide.
you did? Did
Yeah.
you like it?
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Wow. It's just your soul. That's your soul's nature. And that's how it expresses itself in different, of course, we pick different situations in each lifetime because we want to have different experiences, but our essence and the lesson, well, one of the lessons you need, I shouldn't say you need, but one of the lessons you're learning in this lifetime is, well, of course, is forgiveness. And to really also, my guys are saying right now to forgive yourself for some things that still, some things you still haven't quite reconciled with some loved ones, and some things are there's some, it's maybe some guilt and there's a lot of disappointment there.
I'm fine. I mean, they might see that, but to me, I'm okay.
Something deeper.
Yeah,
That's why she's telling you, because
yeah.
Oh, well.
you got to think about later. Not right now, but
No, I'm not.
we'll talk about it.
Yeah, it's there, and many of us there's a saying, sometimes we don't know what we don't know. What happens is, and it's true for me, is that sometimes we think we're good, but there's things that stick in our subconscious that manifest themselves
I know.
in our lives. And it's almost like sometimes you think, well, could I have done, we all think this, but could I have done this? Or, why did things happen like that? And there was a point in time where there was you couldn't understand why things were happening the way they were. It's not what, but it's interesting because your soul is the first person to take on challenges. Like you're that one. I'll do it. I'll do it. And this is true, especially in the life as a nurse too. Like you were right in there. You always were the first one to help.
I like helping people.
Yeah,
Those that allow me
that's
to help them.
amazing. Yeah, and my guides are also saying that you brought, just like Lori did, your soul brought a fair amount of energy to this lifetime, so you can sustain your energy through you're going to live quite a long time.
Oh, I know that.
Yeah, that's like you're going to be here for a while because you're needed here. Your energy and your frequency is needed to.
I know that my mother used to tell me we're all here to do our part in the world, and you can't leave until you have fulfilled that part. I said, okay.
But she sounds like a very wise woman.
My mother, yes, she was. Let me tell you, that lady knew about MSG back in the 60s. And she used to tell us, you don't want you eating that because slowly but surely it eats up your brain cells. And then later on, it came to pass that it was true. The actual sodium,
Yeah, your mom was a very perceptive woman, and she was very self-aware. She was very self-aware and in touch.
She taught herself a lot of stuff. She got her high school diploma in New York at the age of 69. And she came in second with the highest mark.
Now that's an accomplishment. Yeah, try to do that. There's many people I can't even believe that. That's pretty amazing. Really, it's really what fortitude. I mean, she's again, she sounds like a very wise, evolved soul.
I have very good parents. They were strict, but they made me the adult that I am now.
Yes.
And I always thank my lucky stars that I had them. Just the way they brought me up, I try to bring up this young lady too.
Well, you did an amazing job. You did. And my guides are telling me that you made it look easy. So another thing I wanted to share with you that my guide shared with me today, your mom does communicate with you today in signs and symbols. In other words, if like you're driving or you'll see like a cross or a billboard, the words come out at you, or certain books and certain phrases, even something like if you read the Bible or some other type of spiritual text.
She reminds me, I smell flowers. She used to love flowers. I don't have too many flowers because I have allergies.
Yeah.
But it made 25 years that she passed on June 8th.
Wow.
So I put flowers out for her. But a picture that she took with Lori when Lori was 8 years old. So I have that there. But I could be in my house, in my bedroom. She never came to the new apartment, but I smelled it. And sometimes I feel the bed go down, the mattress go down. And I said, Mommy, you're not supposed to be here. You're supposed to, what's the matter? They don't have no jobs for you to do up there? I said, I mix you. Huh?
She has a job now. She's pretty busy. I got to tell you.
She's pretty busy.
So that's how I communicate with her. Or I remember something, and this young lady here, I think my mother has channeled through her, the way she speaks to people, and she helps so many people.
Yes.
That's the way my mother was.
Yes, it's that the gift of communication, which is through words. Like I said, that's what my guides emphasize. It's very word driven. It's very, like, she used words. She wasn't afraid to speak out. And that's how she wants you to know that that's also how she communicates with you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So even if
that was my mother and my best friend, everything she was, because we were that close.
Oh,
I'll tell you something at the end, but I won't tell you now.
What a beautiful relationship. You know, this is what we come here for. We come here as human beings to love and create. So we create homes, a family. We create, experiences that we have to enjoy the planet. But that's why we're here, to love and create, and to really relate to one another and see the beauty in each other, and to help each other, which is what I also mentioned in my chapter 4 of my book, A Spiritual Fitness Survivor. We're here for each other. So we're here to fortify and edify and uplift each other. And even those that don't do that for us, again, through the contrast of negativity and hate or anger or or oppression, that also helps our soul evolve. But how beautiful is it? Like yourself, you had such a beautiful relationship with your mom and with your daughter, and that is such a beautiful gift. Not every family can say that, and you're very blessed to have that, for sure. For sure. So we've touched on, I'm just blown away myself by the correlations and the connections that we made through your questions. Do you have any questions about this life?
Oh yeah, I have a problem. I'm afraid of flying. I mean, not with wings on a plane. The last time I was on a plane, she was 4 years old, and we came back from Puerto Rico in 1990. And now I'm 77 years old.
God bless you.
I was 77 last month.
Wow.
Had a big fun. Lori took me to a crab house.
Nice. Nice.
It was great.
Let me ask you a question. What about flying, if you could put your finger on it, makes you afraid?
I don't know, in the very beginning, the first time I flew was I remember the day, June 28th, it was in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
I was when my father was going to Puerto Rico. He said, I want you to go with me. I said, Daddy, I'm scared. I've never been on a plane.
Which makes sense.
No, I was on a plane one time. I went to New Orleans, Louisiana. We went driving, and I had to come back home because they wanted to kill the pet pig so they could make a barbecue for me. And I said, listen, I cannot eat anything I made friends with. Okay. So I told my mother, and she sent me a plane flight. I had to take. I was 26 years old, and I told the lady, the stewardess, can I sit? Can I have a drink? No, you're too young. I said, I'm 26. Well, anyway,
wow.
I mean, when I got home, I was, thank you, Lord. Then I went with him, and I was afraid. He said, don't be afraid. You're going to be with your daddy, and if we go together. I said, yeah, okay. What about mommy? So then I went with him. Every summer, we used to go. And then when I took her, but I don't know, when I came back in 1990, I just had this horrific dream. I mean, it felt so real that we were on a plane and it crashed. And there was no survivors.
Yeah, so what happened, Alexis, is that stuck in your subconscious.
Yes, probably so.
And a good way, or one of a therapeutic way to get rid of that is to feel the feeling of what it was like experiencing that crash, and to feel it through and to release it.
Okay.
It's one of the things I do with when I do hypnosis, because that gets into your subconscious. But that's why you're afraid, because a conceptual trauma happened to you, which was a dream. But our subconscious doesn't know the difference between something that really happened and something that we imagine happened. The effect is the same. The feeling is the same. So it's almost like you have to feel through this feeling and release it in order to be able to fly, hopefully.
But I always have dreams, and I'd be going down the ramp with this one. And then when we sitting down, I turn around and said, this better be a dream, because I know we're not supposed to be here together. And then I wake up.
Do you think it has something to do with her past life?
It could, but I'm just, it sounds like to me that my guys are saying that you wanted to be closer to a place geographically. You had a latent resentment about having to get on a plane, and then it morphed or manifested itself into a dream, which was a trauma. That's actually you kind of had a tug of war internally. You were resentful. You didn't want to get on the plane. You're like, why do I have to get on this plane just to go to a place that I love, or just a place to be with my family, or a place, you didn't want to do it. It was an imposition for you. So things like that we keep, we have those experiences, they can manifest ourselves. See, your subconscious is pretty smart. Actually, it listened to your real internal desire and said, listen, I don't want to fly anymore. I'm going to create a trauma, and then I'm not going to fly anymore. That's what happened.
They created that. We gotta get that one day.
Yeah, because before 1990, and she was young, we used to go to Florida by train, bus, and plane. Everything was fine until I had that dream.
Yeah, that was you were kind of honoring the.
It was like a terrorist thing,
Yes. Now, my guys are telling me this is not from a past life, that this was your will being exerted on your subconscious. It's like, listen, I don't want to travel. I don't want to take no planes. And this is what we're going to do. And I bet you haven't flown since then.
No. I'm happy it's not a past life. Now we can move on.
Can I ask you one question? I just want to ask one question. I want to know why my daughter and I are so close.
Well, now you were one of the first humans that existed on in this civilization, and you really, as early humans, you had to really work together. You formed a bond very early in your human incarnation, and she was your firstborn son, and
right. Okay.
But I think in your past life reading, didn't I?
Mm-hmm. We was on a farm.
Yeah.
You're on a farm?
Yeah.
We was on the farm and I was taking care. She was my little brother. I mean,
Right.
she was my big brother.
Yes, Alexis, you were Lori's big brother, and you weren't exactly, you were more frail than Lori was, the more strong one. So she felt she had to take care of you. So, and I always, yeah, you were the older brother, but you were the frail one. She was the younger brother, and you worked this English farm, and she felt a sense of responsibility to carry a lot of the weight of the farm work. And she just felt responsible to take care of you. And in this life, the reason why you're taking care of her is it's a karmic thing. It's a good, in a good karma way.
Right.
It's like you do from one hand washes the other, the yin, the yang.
Yeah, right.
And that's how it manifests. And then before this lifetime, you said, hey, instead of, how about I take care of you in this lifetime? And Lori's like, okay.
Yep.
So that's why. And this happens, and I also tell people that these are just a few of the lives that my guides share with me. You've had hundreds, maybe even thousands. Wow. Because we're exist as star seeds, like I said, on other planets, and we also have incarnations in the earth plane too. Our souls are they're so big, and our experience on earth is a fractal of our soul. Our soul's also having other experiences too.
So that part when you said that I was a nun, that my mother, well, anyway, I want to tell you a story.
Sure.
I was 12 years old, and I had a lot of problems. I used to see things that weren't there, bad things. Oh. And I used to see my mother coming at me. I mean, I'd be awake. It wasn't a dream. Sometimes if I hear tick-tock, I couldn't have, because right away I would go into a trance, and I would see my mother bleeding from her fingernails and her eyes. So what happened? I was 12 years old. I was home, and I told my mother, I'm going to the room. She said, yeah, go and relax. She said, I'm not going to go sleep. I'm just going to lay down in your bed. So it was winter time. And I saw the curtains bellowing, like when you open the window. I didn't think anything of it. I wasn't afraid or anything. Then the room got real bright. And I had a vision.
Do you remember what
it was? A Virgin Mary.
Oh my goodness, you just reminded me of the symbol. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I didn't share. This is what I mean by signs and symbols. And they actually told me today, I apologize, but I know it may sound like I'm trying to, to paint your vision, but they said to me, Mother Mary, this is the symbol that that your mother will also share with you. They actually said this to me.
So, wow, that's something, huh?
Now,
so then she told me, she spoke to me and she said to me, you have been bothered by a lot of things, but it will not happen. It's not going to happen anymore. So she made the sign of the cross on my forehead, and the way she came, she left. So I went out to tell my mother. And the minute I walked through to the living room, I said, Mommy, and she said, you had a visitor, didn't you? I said, yes, Mom. I said, what did she tell you? She said that I wasn't going to be bothered by anything no more. And since that day, I swear to you, I don't have no more problems.
Well, did you have problems before then?
Yeah, well, I was having a lot of things. I used to fall down a lot. I was sickly. I'm going to tell you, on this date in 2015, I had a severe pain here, and I went to the hospital. So I went to urgent care, and I called her. They came by ambulance to take me to Lenox Hill Hospital. They found out I have 4 blood clots in my lungs.
Oh.
So,
oh my.
I mean, I stood there like overnight they gave me, I'm on Eliquis now and a blood thinner, but that was in June. By beginning of November, they had taken an X-ray because I had a cough, and when I coughed, a little bit of blood came out, So they took an X-ray, and he says, you no longer have those blood clots, and I know it was her. She takes care of me,
Right.
and so does the Lord, So
Well,
I have a lot of faith.
Yes.
When I come in, because I know my mother's looking after me. And so is whoever is in the universe.
Yeah.
And every night before I go to sleep, I say, thank you, Lord, for me having a blessed day. And God bless everybody in the world, the universe, and the galaxy. And I wake up in the morning and I say, good morning. Thank you for letting us wake up this morning.
Wow. That is.
I always try to give people positive things. I mean, they look at me and say, oh, how can you believe in God? I said, I know because he's my friend. Whenever I have something that's bothering me and that I cannot find an outlet for, I do it because Ma used to always tell me, he'll give you a sign. And it's true.
So an interesting thing happened right now. I could see your aura. And your aura it's a whitish light blue. Mm-hmm. And when you were talking right then, that's when your aura was really getting bigger and bigger. And it just shows that you're pretty spiritually connected too. I've been practicing on seeing my own aura and people's auras. And when you just started to speak then, that's when your aura really shone. It was really visible to me.
I'm glad we had this reading. I was so anxious. I was so excited.
Of course.
To come and have this done.
Yeah, to connect.
A long time ago, I went to somebody's house and they introduced me. His name was Victor. And he just took my hand, Irene, and he told me things that nobody else knows but me.
Wow.
So I know that he's connected something,
Oh, yes, I'm sure. It's magic when that happens. When that happens, that really is quite an experience. Quite an experience.
I don't tell so many people anything because they laugh at you or say, that's not true. I said, you're not going to believe it until it bites you in your ass.
Exactly.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
Yeah, people don't want their own bubble burst. They like their own small world that they live in. Many people do, which I don't judge them. I'm like, you'll wake up when it's time. Whether in this life or the next one, it just doesn't, it's all good. It's all good. Yes. And there is something else I wanted to say. I can't remember now, but any other questions for me?
No.
Oh, I do want to mention your guardian angel.
Sure.
I just wanted to give you some information. Now, when we pre-plan our life, and then we'll wrap up after this. When we pre-plan our life, we have a guardian angel. Everyone has a guardian angel.
I know that. I don't know who it is, but I know we do.
There are exit points that we create in our life where we can choose to exit our lifetime. So it could happen. You can plan one when you're a child, or you can plan them all when you're an adult. So when you had your blood clots, that could have been an exit point where you could have decided to leave, to die and to go to the other side. Now, your guardian angel's job is to keep you here for the time that is for your best and highest good, and also for the best and highest good of those around you. That's your guardian angel's job. But then some people ask me, they're like, well, what happens when a baby dies? And I say, well, the guardian angel's job.
Because he's needed someplace else. That's why.
That baby pre-planned that they were only going to live for 6 months or a year or whatever. And the guardian angel's job is to keep you alive, work with you to keep you alive until your pre-planned end of life, until the year, the age that you die, that is for the best and highest good of all.
I died. I think I died in 1977. I was trying to give up smoking, and I bought a filter to hold the nicotine.
Oh, I remember those filters.
Yeah. So what happened? That one, it made ulcers in my throat. I didn't eat. I went down. I mean, I was never fat, but I went down to 90 pounds. I couldn't swallow my own saliva. I had to go to the hospital.
That's horrific.
So then my boyfriend's father was a minister, and he came to the hospital. So my mother said, if you want to pray over her, because it wasn't really, they couldn't find something to take care of that.
Ooh.
So all I know, I was drifting. I saw myself in a long tunnel. And as I told you, right? And as I'm walking, I see a water fountain with birds around it, like hummingbirds.
Oh, yeah.
And then there was those shutters, those things that be around the house.
Yep.
And then the ivy going through it, right? So when I was about to step out, my mother said, it's not your time, so return.
Yes.
So I came back. And then that weekend, the 2 doctors that were taking care of me, they found a cure. And then it was,
wow. And that was one of your exit points. Sounds like you've had a couple of them.
Oh,
Most of us, if not all of us, do. I know I have, and my guardian angels, like they're working overtime because I've had quite a few. They're like, stop it. It's not time yet. Oh, I could tell you stories too. And which it just, what a supernatural experience it was for me. And sometimes it's pretty unbelievable, but it sounds like that's what happened with you too. So you're here. And like I said, my guide said that you're going to be here for a long time. So.
Well, my auntie passed away. We don't know what day she had, but she was 105.
God bless her. I just really, I look up and I really admire people that live long lives like that, because it's hard for me to even imagine myself living that long, right, Lori?
You have to take care of yourself too and eat the right foods,
Yeah, and that's what, believe me, that's what was shared with me. And since I had my spiritual awakening in 2013, I've really been hyper focused on taking care of our vessel, because this is, if you want to have a good life, it's not about when you die, it's about how you live. Yeah. So that's
well, you know what? You're good at what you do, and God bless you.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
And you're healing to help so many people.
Yes. Well, that's it was revealed to me that's part of my purpose, to teach and to heal. And it's not like I wanted to do it. I just wanted to, stay in my house and not talk to anyone.
You was chosen. You are the chosen one.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Well, I have such a deep love for all that I come in contact with, but mostly that people like yourself and like Lori, who I feel we're all in the same tribe. We're all in the same soul family. Because we attract the vibration the frequency that we vibrate at, and you're of that frequency, Alexis. Lori is. We are the chosen ones. We are here to elevate the frequency and vibration of the planet. Like, this is a global responsibility to help people wake up, because there are a lot of people.
That's what Lori is. I tell Lori all the time. Yes. Just like in Jesus' time when he had his disciples and he had people talking on the mountain to get these people, and those that didn't want to come, well, too bad for them. But this is her. She's a prophet. She's a prophet.
Yes. Oh, believe me, I connected with Lori pretty much right away. Or it just something, and I know this was like, as I messaged Lori today, that this was, we were divinely orchestrated to be together and to, work together, to, be of service, and especially at this time of in the planet. Yeah, we are, just so you know, we are needed here. You, Alexis, Lori, me, and others, we are really needed here. That's why we're going to be here for a while. We're going to be here for.
We're going to be here because we have to finish what has been started.
So truer words have not been spoken. Yes, very true. This is such a treat for me, such an honor to give you this reading and to be part of,
When can we get another one? That was fun.
I will definitely book her again for you, and
Of
like
course.
I to take this in, and
Yeah,
then,
it's
because
great.
she's immaculate. She's somebody that I would utilize for the rest of my life as a life coach. I think she's immaculate. That's why I'm getting her message out to the world, because like I feel connected, and the connection that I have,
I feel good. I feel this.
you feel it in your chest, like
Oh,
it's
my
not
chest.
fake.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Yeah, like, and I know you telling the truth because of the things that she said, even a story about the Virgin Mary, like nobody really knows that. And for you to say she's a nun and things, it puts the things together. And I appreciate you really, speaking to my mother doesn't do things like this. Like, and I have this memory for the rest of my life. So I appreciate you being a part of that, because we all don't live forever. And I have this memory for as long as I want. I can replay it. And she looks so happy. And I just thank you for bringing happiness into people's lives.
Well, this is what we're here for. And this is my favorite part of being here on the planet.
Yeah.
Connecting with just the wonderful, lovely souls. And it really helped my soul grow, just knowing you, Lori, and now meeting you, Alexis. I have to say, I have my heart's full and my soul has grown too.
I forgot to tell you something. When I had that vision, I have a cousin well, he's no longer here. He used to work in the Catholic Church downtown. And I told my mother, does this mean I have to be a nun? This is what I thought. So my mother said, well, let's go down. She called him and we went down the next day. And I told him about what I had. I says, so I don't know, does this mean I should become a nun? He says, when you're 18, come back and talk to me. So when I was 18, I said, Mommy, I'm not. She said, I know you don't have to, but it's just what you felt at the time, because you had this, vision of self. I thought I had to be a nun, not knowing that I was a nun some other place.
Well, that's where the memories are stored in our DNA, in our subconscious. All your lives are in your subconscious. Now, the thing is, we can't access our deep in our subconscious a lot of times, even, all of our lives, but we can work with our guides, and I work with my guides, but they do raise, those memories come up for us, or the inclination for something, to be attracted to something, like being a nun, and also taking care of people too. And that's that makes perfect sense. It's pretty amazing just living out your life and just having these experiences and like putting this all together. I know it's fascinating for me as well. It's really something. What a treat this was, Alexis. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this.
Have a nice summer.
Oh, you too.
I'll see you next month sometime.
Okay. I really look forward to it.
She's going to be a monthly subscription.
Bye. God bless.
Bye. God bless you.